Matthew Continetti, editor-in-chief of the Washington Free Beacon, and Shira Center, political editor of the Boston Globe. Welcome to both of you. Are you making any predictions, Shira? Is Joe Biden in this race?
You know, it's really hard to say right now, and I don't think Joe Biden really even knows for sure if he's going to get in it at this point. I mean, let's look at the week ahead for Joe Biden. He is the highest-ranking Catholic in the United States government, and the Pope is in town. And first of all, there's going to be a lot of positive screen time for Uncle Joe. But secondly, I'm sure it will be a period of reflection for him as this clock continues to tick until that first Democratic debate in mid-October.
So what is it that propels him? I mean, does he have to look at the possibility of a President Hillary Clinton or a President Bernie Sanders, Matthew, and say, wow, that's just not where the Democratic Party ought to be?
And I think he's not the only Democrat, John, thinking that. And so I think the real deadline for Biden is exactly as you say, in a couple of weeks, that first presidential debate. That'd be the great moment to kind of come off a successful announcement that he's entering the race, be on stage next to Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders and say, look, I'm the guy to preserve President Obama's legacy because I've been working side by side with him for now 7 years. I think that will be an attractive argument to Democrats.
Well, can't Hillary Clinton, Shira, say, I'm the obvious heir to President Obama's legacy because, first of all, I fought for health care and my national health care in my husband's first term, and secondly, I was his Secretary of State for 4 years.
Yeah, more so the latter. But what's interesting is when you hear Hillary Clinton on the stump, she in many ways distances herself from President Obama. She says, I'm not running for another term of my husband's legacy. I'm not running for a third term of Obama. I'm running for my first term. That's the line we heard her say to New Hampshire Democrats over the weekend at their annual convention. So I think Joe Biden, in a way, that will be something he would have to contend to as a candidate. But one more note about this Democratic debate turnaround time. That is a whole lot to ask for a candidate, and I will also say a grieving father, to announce a presidential campaign and then within 2 weeks go on that debate stage in front of every Democrat in the country who's watching and have a solid performance. There's pretty high stakes there.
In the meantime, Matthew, there are signs that Hillary Clinton and the people around her are doing everything they can to try to prevent Joe Biden from entering this race.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of rumors in Washington, a lot of reports coming out that the Clinton camp is annoyed at the prospect of Joe Biden running. They're trying to do everything in their power to dissuade him from entering the race. You're Joe Biden, of course, this is actually pretty good politically because it's an acknowledgement from the Clinton camp that if you enter the race, you're going to be a disruptor. You're going to shake things up. And I think it's also a sign of weakness from the Clinton side, too. If they're that afraid of the position that they hold now to kind of run this campaign against Biden, imagine what happens if he enters the race and Hillary Clinton actually has to face him on a debate stage and counter attacks from the sitting vice president of the United States.
Now, disruptors are popular, at least on the Republican side, in the presidential race right now. We'll see what happens on the Democratic side. Let's turn to another topic. Just a few hours from now in Iowa, Hillary Clinton is set to unveil a plan she says will make prescription drugs more affordable, including a cap on drug costs. Biotech stocks are falling over concerns about this plan. Mrs. Clinton also says she would expand Obamacare despite Republican criticism of the law. She was very vocal the other day in saying that she's not going to let Republicans replace or repeal Obamacare. How dicey is a position, Shira, for her to stake that out at this point?
She's trying to win the Democratic nomination at this point, so I think if you do surveys that have been done of the Democratic Party as a whole, most people say in the party in these surveys say they're happy with Obamacare. If this is her goal, to win the Democratic nomination, it's not a very risky position at all. And by the way, if Joe Biden gets in the race, it's not like he'll be able to distance himself from Obamacare. He's the one who told Obama it was such an accomplishment, in words I cannot repeat on national television. So I don't think there's a lot of distance between her and the other candidates on this. I don't think there's a lot of distance between her and the party's top activists on this. The general election, however, might be a different story.
Yeah, because Obamacare among the general election population, Matthew, not nearly as popular as it is among the Democratic faithful.
You're right. But I think it will be an effective issue for Democrats if whoever the nominee goes in front of the American people and say, look, if you elect a Republican, millions of people will lose health insurance as a result of their policies. That's why it's very important for the Republican nominees to have replacement plans for Obamacare. So far, one of the most prominent guys to have a plan was Scott Walker, and he dropped out of the race yesterday. So it's incumbent on these Republican politicians, if they want to neutralize the health care issue, to come up with replacement plans of their own.
All right. It's going to be a fascinating race to watch. We'll see whether Vice President Biden gets in. Shira Center, Matthew Continetti, thank you both.